Hello, you wonderful Life Path 11 person. Welcome to your 2025 Life Path reading. So let's get straight into it. So, what we're going to look at here is in your life sector overview, we're going to look at how your number, your life path number, is interacting with the year. We're going to go section by section so that you get to have a little insight into all of these different areas of life. And then we're going to get into your 12-month tarot breakdown. So, with that said, your overall life energy this year as a master number, your energy and your intuitive faculty is already quite strong. You're very intuitive, but it will be your intuitive powers this year and faculty that will really ramp up. It's possible though that this year you might feel a little bit more insecure, where you're second guessing yourself, maybe second guessing everything that's coming through and trying to figure out what the best way forward is. And I say this because this year your own energy is brought to ground in a sense. This year you're invited to get serious about partnership and connection and even consider what legacy you are currently leaving behind. This year it's like you get a bit more sensitive than usual and you get more spiritual and more inclined to withdraw from the maddening crowd. Now, as a life path 11, you tend to like crowds, groups, or the right tribe, etc., tends to be what you sort of pull towards. Only this year, you might decide that you might feel like you actually really need to pull away from that. One-to-one connections are probably going to be a lot more favored than group sessions this year. You might decide that you need to delve deeper into anything intuitive this year. It wouldn't be a surprise to me. Follow your intuitive powers this year because they're naturally heightened. But because you are second guessing yourself that much, I want to say to you, don't second guess your intuition, right? Now, when it comes to your love life this year, love can be absolutely very favorable for you this year. If you are single, you could connect with someone who not only gets you, but someone who also is invested in building something as real as you are, right? It might also surprise you then that the person has been around for some time, or that you actually have known them for a long time through circles and connections of a wider nature. The message really here is be open to the kind of love that you desire and understand that the kind of love that actually you only really you can offer because it's coming from a very spiritual place. If you're partnered or in a long-term commitment, the magic of this year is really found in connecting to your partner on a deeper level. This is really about listening to each other, facing each other, looking each other directly in the eye, and doing what you can to really understand who that person is all over again, right? This can be a time where you want more alone time, where sex tends towards the more connective, slow, sensual, intense, I want to be inside your soul and your body kind of sex. Right, so this is rather than like the exciting and giggly and all the rest of it, but this kind of intimacy with your partner will absolutely help build a whole new level of trust. So if you're single, it's that kind of love that you're looking for this year. That surface level, sort of like let's have fun and be a little bit giggly and naughty and stuff. You can still do all of that, but it won't carry as much weight for you. When it comes to your finances this year, when it comes to money, trust your gut and your instincts. You could have a nose for finding a real deal, bringing good resources to the ground. And I will say this year, money doesn't necessarily seem to mean as much to you as usual. Like what you want is good connection, good prospects. Maybe a chance to connect with like minds, this sort of is really a relational year rather than like a spend, spend, spend year. So your relationship to money is maybe something that you probably want to pay more attention to rather than money itself. Are you good with money? Are you bad with money? Are you still carrying all of the stuff that your family left you around money? Do you constantly curse and stress over it? Or do you love and cajole money, right? Like cajole, not conjole. This is a year for you to really begin building or rebuilding your relationship to money. And in doing so, this is how you're able to really enhance your earning potential. When it comes to your work and career, your work is kind of more of the same. It's not really about who you know, what you know, but more about what you know and what you're connected to. When it comes to the workplace in general, you're able to really sniff out undercurrents of challenge and change before they hit. And I would advise that you use this to your advantage, right? There's a reason that the universe is heightening your intuition this year, and it's so you can keep yourself out of any sticky spots that might arise. If your boss doesn't know you're putting out fires, they can't give you the credit for it, right? So if you, and I will say, like this year, maybe you need to be a bit more vocal about what you are doing or have been doing for the team. If you've got your own business, partner up, buddy up. This is the way forward. And I wouldn't say this is a year necessarily for community stuff. It really is that one-to-one, as I said earlier, right? This is really where you have the power to affect the most change. Work on a vocation in general, it's going to be like a work in your vocational and sort of professional life in general are going to be a source of commitment. Right. So, meaning you will really need to understand the give and take factor of good work, what that requires. After all, it's rare that we have a job or a business that doesn't involve others in some way, shape, or form. If you've been locking yourself away this year, that is a no. You won't get away with it, right? It will be naturally quieter, absolutely, which is good, but you won't be able to just hide away. Attend to the garden that is your life. Water the plants growing in your garden, right? Pay attention to the seeds that you planted in general. Now, when it comes to your health and vitality, when it comes to health, diet really needs to be your main concern this year. It's not really about eating healthy, it's more about eating balanced. Get your medicinal foods, get in your treats, right? And having both of them, not just one, right? Because that's not balance. This is really the secret to your health this year. Your body functions well when it's taking in ultra healthy food, but that's not fun all the time, right? So you need a balance, and this in turn will keep your mood balanced as well. We have evolved, right? I'm not saying just eat processed crap. What I'm saying is this year you really have to learn to live a balanced lifestyle. This year is also going to see you prioritizing rest and sleep. And it's a year where you might really want to make sure that you're getting quality sleep as well, especially because of the intuitive stuff. That might look like controlling what you can and leaving the rest, whether this is better pillows, better mattress, better blinds to lock out the sun, right? Clocking hours of sleep and tracking them, right? Getting a watch that will help you do that. The best way for you to approach health this year, in fact, the best way for you to approach anything this year is really with a meta approach. All right. With that said, stay tuned as we get into your 12-month tarot breakdown. Hello, my beautiful Life Path 11 people. Welcome to your 2025 12 months tarot breakdown. So let's get straight into it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So as always, you're going to get one destiny card, one direction card per month of the year. You guys know how this works by now. So that being said, I love that you guys check in with these month by month, every 3 months, every 6 months, however it works for you. And you give me updates and information on how it's all panning out. I love this and I'm so grateful for it. So with that said, remember your first card out kind of typifies the year that you're about to have. It gives you an overarching sense or theme of what's unfolding for you. And for you guys, it is the Moon card, right? So it's going to be a somewhat more reflective year for you. It looks like your intuition and your instincts are going to be a bigger focus for you over the course of this year. And remember, when we see the Moon card, we are talking about the past. So for a lot of you, I think this is either that you are assimilating your past over the course of this year, or you're really going through the last however of your lifespan and you're starting to really understand, okay, you know what? I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, and these are the experiences that I've had. It's like you're looking over the entire lifescape that you've had, and you're starting to really understand what that means for you, how things are genuinely going as a result of the life that you've lived and you've led, right? I think this is you making sense of your past in some way, shape or form. Now, to clarify on this, in January, this could be where you are revisiting the past in some way, shape or form. So this year is going to be a very reflective one for you. Oh, okay, too many. So this year is going to be a very reflective one for you. It will see you really thinking a lot about that. But in terms of January itself, this is... You've got this with the Four of Wands. Look at that, right? So you're celebrating your life. In some way, shape or form, you're really taking stock of the experiences that have shaped you. This month in January, you come into the year, we're all going to be that much more reflective. We're all going to be a bit slower than usual. And a part of that is because we start the year with Jupiter retrograde, Mars retrograde. The energy for that big dynamic push that we all feel surging us forward at New Year, it's just not going to be there this time round. So we're doing things very differently. I'm calling 2025 the reboot of humanity. You're going to see why as we move forward. What really strikes me about this is as we come into February, on the 4th of Feb, Jupiter will go direct. On the 24th of February, Mars will go direct. Don't get used to this direct motion energy because it's not sticking around for long. You're going to see why as we move forward. For February, you have the Justice card, commitments, contracts, considerations around what you are tied to and why you are tied to it. Remember, the thing about the Justice card as well, it talks about balance and equilibrium and fairness. This is about fairness for everybody that's involved. And it may be that some situation at this time is getting you to think about what is the fairest sort of way to move through this. Funnily enough, you have a link to this card because this is the 11th card of the Zodiac. And obviously you are the life path 11. So you've got this with the Two of Swords. This is a heartfelt decision that you are making at this time. And when I say a heartfelt decision, I mean a heartfelt decision. The Two of Swords is a decisive action. And it's also about justice. So if you've been waiting to have some kind of vindication, if you've been expecting or wanting or feeling like you deserve some kind of justice, February will bring it to you, right? Like this is where the universe agrees and says, hang on a sec, listen, what you feel you need or what you feel is right or doing right by you, what you feel is fair for you at this moment in time, this is what I'm bringing you. In terms of commitments and contracts that you may be signing, this bodes very, very well because it means that you and everybody that's involved in this partnership is acting on their best behavior. So I love this. I think that's a really, really great, strong energy for February. As we come into March, packed astrological month. I mean, ram-packed. 2nd of the month, Venus goes retrograde in the sign of Aries. 14th of the month, 13th of the month, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Aries. 14th of the month, full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. 29th of the month, full moon lunar, new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, and it's the last one in that axis. As if that wasn't enough, we have, so Venus and Mercury are going to come back into Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, go forward again into the first sign of the zodiac. What does that tell us, right? We're switching it off to switch it back on. The reboot of humanity truly begins, right? As if that wasn't enough. Neptune, Uranus and Saturn, big boy planets, right? Big energies in the zodiac will be going into new signs and then coming back out, and then we'll go in full time into 2026, which means in March, Neptune, right? I think this is on like the 7th of the month. Neptune enters Aries. This is a huge deal. It's a 14-year transit through each sign. So from 2026 onwards, you know what you're getting, right? You're getting a preview here for a few months. This is a once in a lifetime transit, right? None of us will ever see this transit again in our lifetimes. So March, packed astrological month. If you want to know how this speaks to you, your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, hit the link in the description box below. You can check out your 2025 Astro-Tarot readings. They are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. Make sure you check them out. If you're still not sure, there are some trailers that are coming, so you can check those out to see if you feel like it might be for you. With that said, for those of you that do purchase, thank you so much for supporting my work the way that you do. It really does mean a lot. Now, for March, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So it looks like everything's sort of firing on and in your favor, which we love, right? Which is good news. This is a shift point. This is a change point. Whenever the Wheel of Fortune shows up, it's a change in our luck, a change in our path, a change in our destiny. We've got 2 eclipses as well, so it kind of makes sense. But this is a luck and success card, and it's also the results of our actions. So March is going to be a pretty pivotal month for you, and you've got this with the 10 of Wands. The Wheel of Fortune is the number 10. The 10 of Wands is obviously the number 10. 2 10s represents change, and it's usually a big change at that. So I love this for you. When it comes to the 10 of Wands, this is also usually a change of location. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are potentially thinking about a move. Maybe you're changing location of your job, like the place that you work at. Maybe they're moving buildings, etc. There's some kind of shift point that's going on here that I think could be really, really interesting. Now, as we come into April, you have the Emperor card, right? So come April, by the time we get to April the 15th, Mercury and Venus will be direct, obviously newly direct in the sign of Pisces, but they will be direct and moving forward. By the time we get to the 15th, all planets at this point are direct, so we can breathe a collective sigh of relief, and this is where we start to move forward. This is where we start to put energy behind or into brand new things. We've wrapped up the cycle, right? Now, as we come into, you've got the Emperor card in April, which means you're potentially working with or connecting to bigger or larger authority figures in some way. It may also be that you are the authority figure. The Emperor tends to be the father, the husband, most important man in the life, could be a masculine figure. To clarify on this, you've got the 8 of Pentacles. So this is also, for some of you, some kind of job or work-based learning. This is you gathering new skills, new information, and you're putting all of that to work for you. So in some way, shape or form, you're gaining new insight, you're gaining new knowledge that actually turns into money. The 8 of Pentacles isn't just about work. It's also about turning your skills, like earning money from the things that you do, which is your work, your job, etc. The Emperor card is not just authority figures, it's also learning institutions. So there's learning on the job or on the job training, etc., that really furthers your goals. If you're not of working age or you're not interested in that anymore, this could be you working on becoming an authority in some area of life that you are absolutely interested in. Now, as an example, I like to dance. I'm not going to be doing that for a career anytime soon, right? My dance days are long, long gone. That's just a hobby for me. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to be as good at it as I possibly can. So this could also be a vocational, educational experience for some of you as well. Now, as we come into May, Saturn, a big boy planet. So Saturn transits a sign for 3 years. So from 2026 to 2029. You're going to be getting the full whack of what Saturn in Aries is all about, but you're getting a preview just now. Hence, so it comes back, so it goes into Aries and comes back into Pisces. So again, this switching it off, switching it on, the reboot of humanity in some way. If you want to find out how that speaks to your sign, you know what to do. For this, you have the High Priestess. So psychic, intuitive, nudges, hunches, etc. These are things that are bread and butter for you, but I think this year they're going to be heightened in some way. This could also be a time where you feel like there's something that you want to share or divulge. You've got this with the Nine of Wands, which means some personal experience in your history that maybe gave you some form of PTSD, maybe that was really hard to deal with, but feels relevant to helping somebody else's journey forward, might be something that you're sharing now. So as an example, let's say, you know, you experienced some kind of horrific abuse as a child. You could find yourself connected to or working with or around people who have been through similar experiences, and maybe they say something like, oh, you know, this happened to me and so I feel like I'm never going to be able to, and you're like, okay, well, this is a time where maybe divulging some secret about my personal hurts, past, or wounds can actually help somebody else in the world. You know, they say like your story of survival becomes somebody else's survival manual. This could be that. It's a possibility. It may even be that some of you decide to document this in some way, maybe like a book or whatever the case might be. That also feels like an interruption. Okay, Tara, I hear you. When I say an interruption, there are times when I can't really explain how it happens. It just does. There are times where I get messages from or through Tarot where he kind of says to me, this isn't just for them, this is for the world. I wouldn't be surprised if May sees some kind of big reveal about another round of institutional abuse. This, I think, will come from the military though. The military, the army, etc. Somebody comes out, blows the whistle and says, you know, I was in the army and I was treated like this. We'll see. As we come into June, Jupiter, the Lord of growth, abundance, expansion, the great benefic of our zodiac, comes into the sign of its exaltation in Cancer. This is Jupiter's favourite sign. This is where Jupiter does some of its best work, and we all here, down here on Earth, us mere mortals, get to experience some of the goodies that it will bring. Wherever Cancer is in your chart, it's about to get a whole lot of blessings coming through. Now, that being said, if you want to know how that speaks to you in your sign, you know what to do. And you get the Sun card, right? So you get blessings on blessings, and it basically says that you're able to tap into this Jupiter in Cancer energy that much better. You're able to really take it as far as it can possibly go, and that blessings, abundance, joy, happiness are going to find you. This could also be a month where you're traveling, and because you're divulging whatever it is in May, it's almost like it frees you up internally to say, you know what, I actually feel like having divulged that or shared that out into the world, I no longer feel like I'm carrying that burden on my own anymore. I feel lighter because of it. And you come into June in stellar fashion. You've got this with the King of Wands. So a fire sign male, Aries, Leo or Sagittarius, could feature for you in the month of June. My money is on this person being a Leo, King of Wands, you know, fire sign person. The Sun card, the Sun rules Leo. Very likely to be a Leo. Possibly an Aries. Personally, I feel like there'll be a Leo. All right, so this person could feature a lot for you. It also could be that you end up being that much more visible because of what you're sharing in May. It's like you're able to really it's like you're able to really share not only the best of you, but it's like by doing this, you become almost like a spokesperson for something. So whatever your history and your heritage is, remember I said you're going to be reflecting on your personal past a lot this year. That really seems to ring true or come true here in May and June. Now, as we come into July, Mercury goes retrograde for the second time in the year. This one will stay in the bounds of Leo. And as if that wasn't enough, on the 7th of July, Uranus comes into Gemini. I'm just really happy about this one. I'm excited for it. I really am. Unless you were born with Uranus in Gemini, you know, which means you'll be about 84-ish years old now, or heading towards that. You won't have seen this in your lifetime. So it's a once, maybe twice in a year, twice in a lifetime transit. It takes 7 years. It's going to dip into Gemini, give us a little preview, come back out, and then in 2026 it goes in full time. So this is like what I mean, like this year is the reboot of humanity, and all of this is happening under the auspices of a 9-year, which is all about endings, completions, culminations, wrapping up a larger cycle so that we can move forward into 2026, which will be a universal 1 year. All right, so massive stuff. I'm so excited. So for this, you've got the Tower card. So Uranus/Mars show up for you in a big way. And you've got this with the Empress. Okay, so one thing I do want to say to you is July, maybe you kind of lose your head and say, you know what, I'm getting a tattoo, or I'm going to do some, like if you're doing any form of elective surgery and it's off the you know, drop of a hat, remember Mercury's going to go retrograde this year, and you probably don't want to do it on the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th of the month either, because those will be where Uranus is changing sign. And when a planet changes the cusp of its sign, that's where the most activity tends to happen. So I just want you to be extra careful around any sort of cosmetic procedures, tattoos, body alterations, anything that you're doing that has a permanent effect. I want you to be just mindful that, you know, it may not go according to plan, especially with the Tower card. I will say on the world stage, that does look like there's an earthquake somewhere, and it looks like it's potentially quite a consequential one. So we'll see how it shows up. August, you have the Temperance card. So August is a slower month. We're coming back into a greater sense of alignment, balance and peace. To clarify on this, you've got the King of Cups. So usually a water sign male, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This will be where you're working with a therapist, a counselor, or a healer, somebody who has a very spiritual outlook on life. Now, even if this person is medically trained, etc., I'm going to turn the light on because it's a little bit dark. Even if this person is medically trained, which looks like they are, they will probably have a spiritual element to them as well. For those of you that are going for qualifications in these fields of healing, medicine, therapy, psychotherapy, etc., this could actually be a very good month for you. Now, as we come into September, we have the second eclipse season of the year. On the 7th of the month, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. On the 21st of the month, we have the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So eclipse cycles, pretty big. If you haven't got them yet, your Astro-Tarot 2025 sessions are out there. You can get those on the link in the description box below. You can buy one, you can buy all 3 for your sun, moon and rising, or you can get the bundle, which is all 12 of them. So for this, you have the Empress, right? So the Empress showed up for you first in July. So whatever's going on in July, it looks like you're having an echo, or you're revisiting it again here in September. And you've got this with the Devil card. Please, please, please watch out for overindulgence, drinking too much, eating too much, smoking too much, anything that's a pleasure and a leisure for you. Sex, drugs and rock and roll, all of those things. You could really be overindulging at this time, so just keep that as a consideration, because maybe it goes a little bit too far. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself, I'm just saying that this combination can be greed, it can be gluttony, it can be extreme vanity, so just watch out for that, because those kinds of emotions and energies tend to attract negative things or experiences to them, right? As we come into October, you have the Magician card. So in your personal power, standing tall, standing firm, standing strong, regardless of what happens in September, you've got it together. And you've got this with the 3 of Pentacles. So in October, whether you work for yourself or you work for an organization, you are working collaboratively with a power player, with somebody that is hardworking, yes, but somebody who has status, somebody who has gravitas, who has weight. This is somebody that's probably a really good public speaker, someone that really has their stuff together. And this is somebody that can help you, somebody that can elevate your status, somebody that can take you, your life, or your job, or your work to the next level. And you're working with them, because that Three of Pentacles, it tends to see us working like as a collaborative or effort or a collective. Another way this potentially shows up is some of you decide to study marketing. Maybe you decide to study marketing, commercial sales. Maybe some of you go into sales, or you have a product that you want to sell. This would actually be a good time to think about that. Another way that this might even show up as well is that you are giving a talk or a speech to a bunch of students in some regard. So it's a really interesting set of energies for October, and I actually really like that for you. As we come into November, third and final Mercury retrograde of the year, this one is in the sign of Sagittarius. It will come back into the sign of Scorpio. You've got this, the World card, connecting to a community, right? And off the back of what's happening in October, it does make me wonder if the community that you're connecting to is a community of peers, as opposed to like, you being under them. Maybe you are being, welcomed into a new community that feels like an elevation in some regard. And you've got this with the King of Swords. Two ways that this will show up. On a personal level, this will be your expertise is now being noticed and recognized, especially off the back of October, and you are elevating in your work, your career, your professional, even just a vocation. You're being recognized as an authority. The work for that started in April, right? It really starts to perfect here in November. And another way that this could show up is an elderly man in your life who happens to be an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, could be a feature for you, right? So, I love it personally. Now, what do we see here? King of Wands, King of Cups, King of Swords. Three kings represents a consultation. If you're going to have a consultation this year, tarot, astrology, numerology, human design, I Ching, etc., whatever it might be, June, August, November, those are the best months for you to do it, all right? And then as we come into December, you have the Judgment card, wrapping up all of the previous old cycles and truly preparing for the universal 1 year that comes in, that you have, even though you're an 11, your number is made up of the number 1, right? So you have a lot of connection to this. So I think 2026 is going to be a decidedly very good year for you. And you've got this with the Seven of Wands. Two things. On a physical health and vitality level, if you have had a chronic health situation, challenge, or issue, this is where it's likely to come up, and you will discover, obviously I'm not a doctor, can't give you medical advice, this is not that, but it looks like you discover what part of your immune system has been struggling with something, and that's kind of like what the problem or the issue was or is around the health, right? So it's like you discover, okay, here's how I need to support my immune system in order for this health issue to go away. On another level, the Judgment card is the deep past, and the Seven of Wands is a dispute, an argument, right? This is where you have to back yourself. It's where you have to check someone for how they talk to you or treat you. December will be a month where you do have to stand up for yourself. Usually, Life Path 11 is a little bit of a pacifist when they're not, and I'm sorry to say this, and I say this delicately, because most of the Life Path 11 people that I've met have been the lighter version of this. A dark Life Path 11, those people are Delulu, and they can be really evil. This, however, sometimes you've got to check someone, right? Sometimes you have to really let people know, like, it's not okay to treat me or to talk to me that way. Now, when it comes to your challenge and your power months for this year, your challenge months, May, I think, will be a challenge month. July will be a challenge month. September, I think holding on to yourself might be the challenge, right? You know, not policing yourself, but parenting yourself to say like, okay, come on, you've been partying now 3 weekends out of the month, like let's get it together. December will be a challenge month. Now, your power months, however, I really like February. I think February and March are great. I think April is a power month. June is an absolute power month. I love August for you. Massive fan of October, massive fan of November. Any of the others that I haven't mentioned, I think are going to be neutral. Now, when it comes to your Human Design Oracle deck card, this is like an extra sort of tidbit of information from the universe to say, go in this direction. And yours is the Gate 51 and Shock. This is effectively the Tower card. So this year, all bets are off. Change is coming, right? And interestingly enough, as a life path 11, you're ruled by Neptune. Neptune is changing this year. It's going to be a very different energy because Neptune rules Pisces. So it's got a lot to do with the sign that it's currently in. So it's been at home. Neptune in Aries is a decidedly very different energy. So when this happens, I want you to really think about, okay, you know what? It's all going to be change. It's all potentially going to be shock. And the shock card does say how you start this year will definitely not be how you end it. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic year. Check in every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, however it speaks to you. Make sure you get your Astro Tarots. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.